Welcome to a small little update of Tezos. Tezos has been a great coin to trade for me the last couple of years actually. It's been laying dormant for a very long time, and it's had some very high swings to the upside and very high swings to the low side. So this chart is starting from the 1st of September 2029. And it's been all over the place. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. As you can see, the volatility on this coin has been insane. And if you look over the months, what you see is that actually we have been forming steadily and slowly lower highs. We've had uptrends or multiple uptrends and multiple downtrends, with higher highs coming in. So overall, I would say in the very long term, this coin actually looks quite bullish. And then we're talking on monthly charts bullish. If we take in a bit more lower time frame, if we start looking at the weekly, we see we can really see the volume spikes every time we had a major move. And we can see every time we had a major move, we also had a major sell-off with high volume of high red bars. So there are some very important things to keep in mind in this chart. Like I said before, we have lower highs. If we would break these lower highs or lower lows, if we would break these lower lows, we would see, I would suspect, a very severe downtrend. It's hard to say to what price Tezos would go, but you can expect that if this support line breaks down, you could expect prices to drop quite heavily towards the monthly at $2, maybe even lower. Because of how the bull market, or because of how the crypto market has grown, I would not expect prices to go back to like 2019 levels of 80 cents. But if we break this support level, it's not unthinkable. So what would we be looking for at this chart? Well, actually, we have been at a very nice accumulation level, if you ask me. Even though that volume is dropping off, you can see that every time we've touched this line, we've bounced up. So at some point you would want to see a clear break of a lower high from the weeks prior. And this would be one of these levels which I would love to see broken. If we break this line, the resistance line at around $4, we would see a change in market structure, and then we'll be starting to look up again towards an old monthly level of 560 and maybe even 6 or 870. Of course, this is a very long-term plan. If we look at the daily, well, it still looks a lot like the same, but even more details, and you can see how often this trend line we have held. And here you can also see the very severe trend line we've had since October 2021. It's been going down ever since. So actually we are also squeezing because we have higher lows and we have lower highs. So you would expect Tezos to at some point come to a decision point where the squeeze is really pushing it in, and then we would finally see which side Tezos will want to go to. Will we hold this line as support and bounce up, or will we break it, backtest it and go down? Fundamentally, Blockchain Champions hasn't looked at Tezos yet. I am sure that in the future they will at some point. As a trader perspective, with these volatile moves on this token, I'd say it's a very interesting coin for a trade. At this point, if you trade on spot or either low leverage, I would actually say that this is a fairly reasonable place to take a swing long. You would expect to hit at least somewhere close to 370 or 360 if we bounce to the Fibonacci golden pocket of the last move down from about 415. On the downside, of course, you would have to take into account that if we break this very long-standing support line, that we have had moves of 13%, 14% below it, well, a little bit less, and we'd still close above it. So you'd have to take in account that risk of it dropping below, and especially if we again break it to the downside, backtest it as resistance and fall back down. That would actually be a short entry. At this point I am in a reasonable long on Tezos, since for me I see that we have backtested this level as support, and if we fall down I would add to my long at 240 and around $2. That's my plan for Tezos. That's how I'm trading Tezos at this point. So, you do you, I do me. I do not give financial advice. I'm just showing you how I have traded or how I am trading Tezos at this point.